You hear all these companies say we're going to be carbon neutral by so-and-so day. That doesn't mean they're going to quit flying airplanes. It doesn't mean they're going to quit driving cars. It means they're going to go to a producer and buy a carbon offset that accounts for the carbon they're emitting by doing those things, by using this farmer who's going to put a similar amount of carbon back into the soil profile and store it there.
Bill Rooney specializes in grain sorghum and its products. Mainly used for animal feed at the moment, Rooney says sorghum could play a huge role in environmental practices of the future, including fuel.
We call them dedicated bioenergy crops. They're not for food, they're not for feed. They are to produce material that feeds into a processing plant to make ethanol, to make higher carbon chain fuels. Just like you have a oil flow into a refinery and get processed, dedicated bioenergy crops are going to be used in that same way.
So fuel for our cars could be powered by grain sorghum one day. But another, newer method to combat climate change could make sorghum the perfect pairing.
When you harvest the crop and take the grain, that root system is left behind. And if that ground is managed correctly, i.e. we don't till it excessively, there is carbon that is then sequestered in that soil profile.
Rooney says this could be a great opportunity for Texas and Plains farmers in the coming decades.
Either the farmer who's managing his cropland, or the rancher who's managing his pasture land, or the forestry, native or production forestry. Yeah, they've got the area where you can do this. So they will be key to that process if this system takes off and really develops.
This is still a new concept, and Rooney says it needs to gain some traction first.
I think the potential is there. The question is, do all of those different processes in the supply and processing chain come to pass? And they won't until it's economically feasible at all levels.
And in a harsh Texas landscape that is already the #2 producer of sorghum in the nation, we could be poised for a sorghum boom before long. That's a look at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.